Welcome to the last in a series of 4 videos on using Desktop EndNote from the University of Reading Library. In this video we'll be covering inserting citations and references in Word documents, changing the style of those references and adjusting the format of the in-text citation. We'll also cover citing directly from a PDF and converting a Word document to plain text so you can make final adjustments to your references. Once EndNote is installed on your computer, you will get an extra toolbar in Word. This is what you would use to insert your citations and change the style. To insert a citation, move your cursor to the right position in your Word document where you want to add it, and then click on the button at the top left of the toolbar. You can then search across your EndNote library, so normally you'll know the author that you'll want to add at that point. Click Find and you'll see a list of matching references. Select the one that you want and click Insert. This will add the in-text citation following the rules of the style that you have selected on the toolbar, and it will add the reference to the list at the end. The other way to add a reference is to do it directly from EndNote. So put your cursor in the right place in your document, switch back to EndNote, select the reference you want to add, and then click on the double quote button on the toolbar. This will do exactly the same thing. It will insert the in-text citation and it will add the reference to the list at the end. When you first start using EndNote, the style that will be used on your documents will be the annotated style. So if you see the abstract coming through into your reference list, that's a big clue that you need to change the style. So go to the Style Pick list on the toolbar. There will be a short list of key styles which you can select from. If the one you want is not here, click on Select Another Style and you'll see a long list of different styles that are available in EndNote. You can jump through the list by pressing the first letter of the style name. So if I want the Cite Them Right Harvard style, I press C on my keyboard. I can then scroll down and it's a little bit more manageable to find the style that I want. Once you've selected it once, it will then stick in the quick list of styles that's available in your document. That's the beauty of using EndNote, that at the click of a button you can change the style of your references. So if you were using a different style, say Vancouver, a numbered style, when you click on that option, the in-text citations change the numbers and the order of the references will change accordingly as well. If you're using a name year style, like the Cite Them Right Harvard style, you might not always want to have your citations at the end of a sentence or with the whole thing in brackets. You might want to change it to match the way you want to write. So for example, if I wanted to say Wang et al. Argue that, it's not going to be right to have the whole thing in brackets. I just want the year in the brackets. So the way to achieve that, instead of trying to manually change this, because this is controlled by EndNote, if you just right click on the in-text citation and go to Edit Citation and Display as Author Bracket Year, I've then retained the link with EndNote and the full reference is the same at the end, but I can now write my text in the way I want to. If you watched video 3, you'll have seen that sometimes the format of the reference details that you've downloaded from databases may not be consistent with the style that you need to use for your work. And if we look at these two references that I've inserted in my Word document, you may spot an inconsistency in the way that the article titles have been capitalized. So in the Cite Them Right Harvard style, I need my article titles to be in lowercase, apart from the first letter of the first word and any sort of words or acronyms that need capitals. So this one is correct, but the top one, notice that all of the words or significant words have been given a capital, so this is incorrect. So the way to change this, once again, rather than trying to manually edit the reference here, which is under EndNote's control, is actually to go back to EndNote itself. Find the reference and double click on it and go to the Edit panel. You can then edit anything in your reference. The easiest way to change the case of a title is to highlight it and then use the Change Case option and make it sentence case. but just watch out for any words or acronyms which you should put back into capitals. So that's now correctly capitalised. Another thing to watch out for is your journal names. Make sure that they are capitalised. So they're the opposite of article titles because they're names. Every significant word should have a capital. So this one is correct. And make sure your journal names are given in full as well and not abbreviated. So once you've finished making your changes, click Save. You can then go back to your Word document and you don't need to reinsert the reference. Just click on Update Citations and Bibliography. So this is the Windows version of the toolbar. On a Mac it may be in a slightly different place. I think it comes under Tools on a Mac. So click Update Citations and Bibliography and you'll see the capitalisation of that title miraculously changes, and now both those references are correct and will score me highly when I have my work marked. If you are using a quote in your document, you need to include the page number that that quote has come from. To do that with EndNote, once again, you need to edit the in-text citation. Go to Edit and Manage Citations on your toolbar, and you've got the option to add page numbers. So this quote was taken from page 750 of my article. Just put the number. If it's a longer quote and it spans more than one page, you put the range in the pages box. Click OK, and the page number has then been added to your reference. In the latest version of EndNote, it is possible to select some text in a PDF you have in your library and insert a quote in your document. To do that, place your cursor in the text where you want the quote to appear. Go to your EndNote library and open the PDF of the article. Select the text that you want to include as a quote. So I'll just take this sentence here. Oops, try and get all of it. There we go. And then you simply click on the Cite button on the toolbar on the top right of the window. That then inserts that quoted text in your text of your document. It puts the in-text citation after that quote as well, and it adds the reference to your full list at the end. Now in the Harvard style, this should be in single quotes rather than double quotes, so you would just need to edit that to make it consistent with any other quotes you'd put in yourself. But just bear in mind that quotes should be kept to a minimum if at all possible, and it's better to paraphrase and put it into your own words rather than using a whole series of quotes in your document. Although EndNote will do most of the job for you in creating references, occasionally it may not quite create the right reference in the right style that you need, especially for odd types of publication. So the way to get around this is first of all to save a copy of your document. So if I go to File, Save a Copy, and then the next step is to divorce this document from EndNote. So at the moment, all the references are greyed out when I click on them. That indicates it's linked to EndNote, and EndNote is in control of those references. So all I need to do is go to the Convert option and convert to plain text. It does prompt you to create a backup copy. So this then means that the references are now just flat text, so I can make any small changes that I need to make. Other changes you might want to make is like adding space between the references. The default style has them right next to one another, so you might just want to go to the home menu and add a bit of space after each item. So you can add space after each reference just to space them out. It's also quite a good idea to convert to plain text before you submit your document through Turnitin, just in case there are any issues with the codes that EndNote uses in your document when you submit it. We hope that you have found this series of 4 videos a good introduction to help you get started with using Desktop EndNote. If you need further support, we have an EndNote guide with lots more support resources. Just scan the QR code on the left of the screen to access that. Or for individual support, your academic liaison librarian is more than happy to help. You can either email them with quick queries or you can book an appointment. Good luck with your EndNote journey.